Hey friends, hey family, my name's Skylent, and today I wanted to show off some games that I had a lot of fun with playing with friends. These are all MMO that I genuinely had a decent amount of time with a bunch of different people. Either one friend, we co-op through the game, or maybe it was like us in a guild and we all were just PvPing for a little bit. Or maybe we're playing right now all together with the video game party club. Whatever the case is, I have played these games with a bunch of different people or a few friends, and I had a great time specifically with playing with those friends. These games were great excuses or worlds to live in to just kind of, I don't know, be a medium to communicate with them. Right now, might be a little bit hard to get those sort of connections IRL, so hopefully this list finds you warmly. Okay, starting out the list is one of the most adorable and cute action MMO that you can play right now, and that is Trove. And I think these spectacular style games are really good for like fun for the family, for younger audiences, and overall just really easy to get into, even if generally this might not be your type of game. You literally get into the game and you have all your abilities within 5 minutes, and you see the general gameplay loop instantaneously. This is a game that I played in pre-alpha with a bunch of friends. We used to jump from game to game, try out all the new titles, and Trove was one that really actually stuck with us from the pre-alpha all the way through to release and a few expansions. And the game has changed a lot. It used to be like this hardcore platformer game where you had to find the dungeons, bomb your way through, and everything was really a great challenge. But now it's definitely more casualized and far more hyperactive, so a little bit of a double-edged sword where it's going to kind of miss its mark a little bit. And this is kind of a hidden gem MMO, but I still think it's a great game to play with your friends. I know when me and the gang would all get together, we would go and try to do like the new challenging content. We constantly were regrinding, getting loot, and then whenever somebody had like a new sword or a new mask or a new hat or whatever, we're like, oh man, you're looking dapper. And it was just really cool to go and see everyone's houses, like how they formed their house. You can build houses in this game, which actually serve a really good function. Then we go to each other's islands. We'd play like soccer one time. There was just a lot of silly minigame stuff going on with Trove, but of course, as it evolved, there was just a huge spam of content, new classes, new mounts, and one of my friends actually got really involved in the trading scene and was trying to teach me all about that. So Trove has a lot going on for it for a lot of different players. It just doesn't quite appear or really appeal to many players. I think it just looks like, oh, it's a Minecraft game, but actually proper, this is a actual MMO, actual action-packed, you know, grinder looter style game with infinite loot. Oh my god, it's very satisfying to run around and run and gun literally, and trying out the different classes is just really silly too, and palling around with your friends in this hub world type of game, it's just, I think right now in a time that's so isolating, it's really cool to have a literal hub to communicate with your friends, or even maybe distant family, or just an excuse to do something with anybody with all ages here in this game. I think it just gives you so many reasons to play together, or just be a game to just kind of use as a hub for communication. So that's how me and my boys did it. And you know, we would jump from Trove, and then we'd be like, oh, you want to go play this game? You want to go play this game? It was just a really good game to always come back to. It was a great anchor game. So I think, you know, this is a game that's been overlooked a little bit too often in recent times. Maybe time to jump back in, or maybe try it, even if you don't think it's quite the game for you. I definitely am asking that you do. Number 4 is World of Warcraft, and WoW is famous for a number of different things, but I am going to place this for Classic WoW, which is a really fun leveling experience, especially if you do it cooperatively, even though there's so many systems in place that make it kind of awkward, especially because it's a classic MMO at this point. In the end, I think a lot of the trudginess and fudginess and cheesiness of Classic WoW is something kind of special and incredibly rewarding, specifically to play cooperatively with a friend. But if you want to play retail WoW, which is really what I really want to promote here, World of Warcraft is great as an end game dungeoneering type of game. And you could say Final Fantasy XIV, sure, but the leveling is really single player-y. Terra also is kind of a boring, mindless grind and kind of hardcore at the end. But World of Warcraft, I think, overall has a very casualized and instantaneous dungeoneering experience. What is it, like level 16 or so? You're just instantly looking for group queuing up. So it's a great game to actually make friends, I think, overall, even though some people would say that's very antisocial. I kind of agree. But at the same time, if you can jump in with one IRL friend or another, which we're all, you know, we have a lot of free time, we can definitely queue up for some dungeons. I think the game teaches itself very well. Now, I personally played Death Knight. I really love tanking in this game. I got a Demon Hunter, and I want to try all the different tanking classes, so that's kind of like my thing with World of Warcraft, and I love that it's a thing in this game. No other game on this list has the role centricity that World of Warcraft has. So if you're looking for a role-centric style RPG, this is going to be it. I think tanking in WoW is probably the best in any game. That's just my opinion. But you are going to notice I am kind of talking a little bit very specific about the dungeoneering. Now you can actually play the battlegrounds, which is, it's cute. You know, it's a cute little gimmick. There are arenas and there's teams and esports. But I don't really want to promote that. I think World of Warcraft is really more of like you jump in with a guild and you can do some holiday events in the hub towns. I do appreciate that whenever those are running around. But for instantaneous, play with your friends, I think WoW's dungeons are really cute and are really cool. Especially when you get to the end, you know, there's a lot of challenge, and I've only teased it, but I think it's something that I do want to dive in a little bit deeper with. If you guys would actually play with me, that'd be great. But my time with World of Warcraft, you know, really was vanilla World of Warcraft. That's great. The leveling, the open world stuff, the PvE, that's really cool. But if you're going to play modern WoW, just jump in and just do dungeons. I know it's kind of tragic. It feels like you're skipping a lot of content. It's definitely worth skipping unless you play Classic. But yeah, just jump in, pick a role, try to do the best you can. And for, I guess, more of a hardcore PvE experience, World of Warcraft is probably the absolute best to jump in with friends from start to finish. Halfway on our list is actually the MMO that we are currently playing for the Video Game Party Club, and that's going to be Planetside II. Planetside II is one of the most unique MMOs, maybe the most absolutely like original and special games out there. It's basically like hundreds versus hundreds versus hundreds, like just a ton of people all on a continent, if not like all in the same exact base, just duking it out, blasting and smashing, and it's cross-vehicle gameplay from airs, tank, friggin', I don't know, motorcycles with C4 strapped on them. Who knows, man? It could get very Battlefield here. Then you have like jetpack users, infiltrators with stealth, people with overshields, giant walking mech dudes. A lot of really cheesy, weird sci-fi stuff. Definitely kind of like 90s action movie kind of feel. But that's, I think, something that you really want in this day and age, where everything is like medieval, slower paced. Now, Planetside 2 is very Call of Duty. You jump in, and even though it's a giant world, you literally just jump in or jetpack in, drop ship down, and you're in it. You're in it to win it. You're in the fray. Literally hundreds of people around you, and you know, it can be a little chaotic. Okay, it can be a little crazy. And I will admit, you might need a bit of a stronger machine for this game in particular, but I think there's a role for everyone. You know, maybe if it's a younger person playing, or somebody who's a little bit more naive with first-person shooters, you can play as a healer. Somebody who's a little more well-rounded, you could pick up the engineer, or somebody who's like, you know, I want to be the sniper, YOLO MLG. Then you pick up the infiltrator, and that's how I play as well. So I'm having a ton of fun with Planetside 2, playing with you guys in the Discord, but also historically playing with a bunch of friends. We'd all, you know, get in a vehicle together and we'd drop down on the base and we'll infiltrate the back of it, or, you know, jetpacks out with C4, take out their spawner vehicles, and, you know, we would commence with these machinations, these plans, and that's really the true spirit of Planetside 2 is, yeah, you can run and gun and you can just have a lot of spectacular fun, but when you get on the comms with other people, that's when Planetside 2 comes to life. I can't understate that enough. And definitely you guys should join us in the Video Game Party Club, join my Discord, let's have some fun. Now, number 2 is a game that a lot of you guys request that I talk more about. I totally agree. Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I was actually co-oping through this with a friend whenever it was coming out, and, you know, the game was a little rough around the edges, and I think since then, it's definitely gotten a lot better, but it was a little bit under the radar. But now, oh my gosh, with this new expansion coming out that's like gothic and dark and vampiric, me, personally, I play as a vampiric healer, so definitely I'm gonna jump back into it. By the way, as of uploading this video for the next 2 weeks, it's actually free to play. You just jump in and it's free. So yay, what a perfect time. But yeah, Elder Scrolls Online, there's a couple things to worry about though, little speed bumps, little hiccups for jumping in with friends, and that's the questing can feel very targeted because it's all voice dialogue, and there are certain quests that are like, you are the chosen one, you are doing this, and it's just you, and then you have other people around you. It can be kind of immersion breaking, and you might be on different parts of a chain of a quest. But Elder Scrolls Online has made many changes to that. Overall, the questing, even though the dialogue is role-playing one thing, it's actually really easy to co-op through it. So play with a friend, kind of, you know, have some headcanon of how it works out. But Elder Scrolls Online as an MMO totally works out and still feels like an Elder Scrolls game. At least now it does. Now, you might want to worry about your build customization, but it's actually really fun to talk about that with your friends, with your party, like, oh, how should I orient my healing build, or who's even going to be the healer, who's going to be the nuke mage, who's going to be the tank, because this is a role-centric game, but you can do Dungeon Finder, and unlike World of Warcraft, it's actually really fun to do open world questing, it's really fun to do PvP, it's generally a more healthy ecosystem all around for the different gameplay loops. It's more evenly distributed. So yeah, just keep that in mind though. When one person wants to do one thing, you have to, go in that direction. But Elder Scrolls Online overall, yeah, I just have to say overall as an MMO, just feels like it fills the niche of something like classic World of Warcraft. You just gotta be worried about maybe like the start of the game and being at the pace of everyone else. But one thing to note, they did update one thing that's huge. So there's equalized leveling. So you guys can start wherever you want with whatever race and class. So all the factions can actually play together. You can actually level together, and you don't have to worry about somebody even being over-leveled. Like me right now, I can go and play with noobs and have a tremendous time because things get scaled around, just like Guild Wars 2. I really appreciate every change and every update that they've made to Elder Scrolls Online, and they're even talking about even more and more, and it seems like there's so much momentum, so now is definitely the time to check out this game, especially if you kind of missed out on the old magic era of MMOs, such as classic World of Warcraft. Elder Scrolls Online has actually got a little bit of that. Now, I don't know if the world and the aesthetic is for you, or for them, or all your friends, but it's something to definitely try out and try to tease out a little bit of the magic for. Alright guys, but before we get to my #1 MMO to play with friends, I've got some honorable mentions. And I think some of you guys might cringe, some of you guys might not even believe me, especially seeing what I've already put on this list. But please, seriously, sincerely, I mean this, I really want you guys to try these games out. So the first game is Royal High, which is a server on Roblox. And yeah, I do consider Roblox minigames as full experiences because that's what they are. They're original experiences that might be rough around the edges, and yeah, it's Roblox, and this one in particular is a little fantastic, but please hear me out. Playing through this cooperatively, if you could even call it co-op, even if you could even call it a game, it's definitely more of a game than VR chat, but it's really just like this role play sort of community, and at first that sounds really bad. It's like, oh, it's VR chat, it's just memes. No, actually, there's some real gamification here. There's some kind of challenge, and there's some interesting aspects of this that I kind of wish was in like every MMO. So basically, I jumped in. I was a cute, beautiful, magical girl princess, and this is basically like Magical Girl, the school, the MMO. And you're gonna find a lot of other games that are very similar to this now, like the Winx Club stuff, and there's like Fairy, Fantastic High School, and I don't know, but Royal House, the one that I played and I think is the most popular. And you go to classes, and there's like these little mini games, and it's basically like a mini game hub town kind of game. And it culminated with like doing like gym stuff. There's like a pool mini game, and you actually do get scored. You do get grades, and there's actually like a time of day where you have to go to bed, or you have to go to like the dance party or whatever. And yeah, we went to baking class. That was stupid fun. And then it all leads up to this giant dance party where somebody's crowned like the dancing queen or whatever. And it's kind of really dumb, and it's really cheese, but I had so much fun, and I don't think there was a moment where I wasn't smiling, so, take that for what it is. Okay, maybe I'm just weird, but maybe you guys are just missing out on something really, really special too. So Royal High, please, give it a shot. And next honorable mention is another Roblox game, and that's Mad City. I was collaborating with Oxid, actually, of our community. He's the moderator on my Discord, and we were just jamming around. We were just like, oh, let's play some Roblox games, because I wanted to play the Counter-Strike game in Roblox. I had no idea of the potential of Roblox at this time. Keep that in mind. So we jump into this game, Mad City. I was like, oh, is this going to be cops and robbers? Beyond just cops and robbers, though that's fun too. You jump in, and at least on the villain side or whatever, we're breaking out of a prison, which we actually, we had to like assassinate the guards. We had to get the key card. We had to bust out of there. We're being chased by superheroes and stuff like that. The super villain was helping us escape. And then we get into the city, and it turns out, you can kill superheroes while you're like robbing banks and stuff like that, or robbing like a chest or whatever, a safe in a club. A number of different kind of heists that you can do, kind of Grand Theft Auto-y, but with superheroes and super villains, and then you could become one. You get superpowers, and there's like helicopters and cars. And I don't know, it's a small little silly, it's a small, one of the smallest but most epic experiences that I've had inside of an MMO. Barely massive, I guess, by definition, but Bad City was mad. It was chaos. It was so colorful though. It was so cool. Oh man, I just really appreciated that. And it reminded me of APB Reloaded. It reminded me of like the good old days of Grand Theft Auto Online, which is still fun, but it wasn't quite as open or massive feeling as Bad City. So, I really gotta applause for this one. And finally, for honorable mention, I've got Windcraft, the Minecraft MMO. Before I also mention just vaguely like, oh man, Minecraft MMO servers, those are cool. There's some cool PvP ones, and you guys actually helped elucidate that in the comments below. But specifically this time, I am going to name this server Windcraft. I was playing on stream and I was just like, hey, Discord, hey, stream, anybody can join me. Let's have a time. And oh my God, we did. This game was, it's definitely grindy, but it gave me, I guess, evoking feelings of like RuneScape almost. You just jump in and it's kind of a grindathon, but there are quests. And in fact, there's even dungeons. Not only are there dungeons, but there's cinematics. Now, I don't know, that sounds silly comparing to the other games on this list, like Elder Scrolls Online. But Windcraft is a Minecraft server. It's like a bunch of basically kids got together, and maybe not literal children, but you know what I'm saying. It's just a bunch of people got together, had a passion, and made something. So max 50-player servers, but it is 50-player, and there's PvE, so you can jump in, you do the dungeons, do the open world, you're grinding, and there's some interesting abilities as well in this game. So it's not just like the normal Minecraft combat to an extent, like it is a little bit extra. There is some add-ons, and even with the cinematic system that they have in place, it was super surprising. The dungeon that I did, it freaking flooded. It broke apart. It was an explosion. You had to race out of the dungeon. I don't know. It was ridiculous. So Windcraft has got something special with it. And even though I barely played, the time I had with you guys while streaming and playing it was memorable enough to put it here in an honorable mention. All right, guys, but now it's time. The #1 best MMO to play with friends. And this is probably the MMO that I played with the most amount of friends with a variety of different gameplay, a variety of different times in my life and their lives. It's Guild Wars 2. And Guild Wars 2 was especially special for me because it used to have this system where they had timed events, which we can never get back. So I literally have permanent memories that you guys will never be able to have, such as the Aetheryte event or the breakage, the literal burning of Lion's Arch, which has now been rebuilt. So there's some really, really cool stuff that, is locked away personal to me. But even still, if you jump in now, it's a great game that had a lot of innovative features that make it so easy to play with friends. So everything is really leveled, equalized, even the PvP, which is kind of wet noodly fighty, but overall people are getting more engaged with the PvP now. The world versus world, the arena stuff, it's a really cool game to just to jump in and just, ham around in. But the open world questing, kind of realm of the Mad Gaudy, where there's dynamic events and you can just run around, press buttons and slap things silly, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, there's this giant dynamic event. Oh my God, there's this world boss in the swamp. This is a giant dragon with a giant face. We gotta hit the face. And you just run around the world doing jumping puzzles, which is honestly my favorite part of the game. Collaboratively, trying to figure out all the little Easter eggs of the seasonal event. If it's literally like an Easter event or Halloween event, running around the world and be like, oh man, here's a portal. Come get this portal. Let's go do this thing. So I really love Guild Wars 2 for those seasonal events. So if there's any MMO to play with friends throughout, basically your whole lifespan, casually, just keep track of Guild Wars 2. When are these seasonal events happening and jump in for that? And that's how I play the game. Now, all the game is super, I would say, MMO oriented, where the world versus world feels really epic, but the world bosses, in my last video I said that's what makes Guild Wars 2 special. Oh yeah, jump in, grind out the world bosses, fight those giant dragons and collaborate with your friends. Also, you can even co-op through the single player experience, and the co-op in the story is actually really good. I also really appreciate the dungeoneering. Oh my God, the dungeons, the one and done experience for Guild Wars 2 is just amazing. You play the free to play, do the dungeons, do them once, especially if it's your first time as you're leveling. The best, the absolute best. Now, the end game doesn't compete with World of Warcraft. It doesn't have that challenge. Guild Wars 2 is a game that you kind of go do and then come back to every once in a while, but I think that's exactly what you want to do with friends. Oh, hey, there's a concert happening. Oh, hey, here's this event. It's just like that. From IRL, you do like some art festival or whatever. In Guild Wars 2, you jump in and then you do like the Halloween event where you run through a labyrinth or whatever. Just like that. the in-game parade, except you, the players, are the parade. That's exactly how Guild Wars 2 feels for me, and hopefully for you guys as well. Jump in, have a time, guys. All right, but that's my list, and I know there's some weird honorable mentions, and this list is also kind of an amalgamation of very strange games put together, but that's exactly why I wanted to do this. I wanted you guys to see that there are very different flavors of MMO and experiences that you can have, and now you got the time, and you have a lot of friends who also have time. These are excuses to try these games out, appreciate them for what they are, but also use them as a tool, as a hub for, you know, just hanging out with your boys. So yeah, or your family. I think these are games that generally, yeah, you could play with the family too. I think I can definitely vibe with the feeling that maybe things are kind of lonesome. There's a lot of things I wanted to do IRL that I'm kind of missing out on, but I guess now's the time that I can jump back into a lot of these MMOs, and that I'm doing so with Planetside II as well. And I started the Video Game Party Club, and I'm not missing out too much. You know, these virtual worlds, they're kind of real too, in a way. The friendships we make, the times we have, those are true experiences, those are true memories. And I think, I mean, it's cheesy to say, but maybe true friendships, yeah? So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below, guys, and I hope everyone is being well and staying well. Much love. I'll see you in the next one.